We went to the common room, and the men sat around Sakamoto hoping to get some answers. Kondo, Hijikata, and Sanan were all present. Outside of the room, however, were Yamazaki, Inoue, and Shimada all standing by. If Sakamoto made any sudden or conspicuous movements, I assumed they'd kill him instantly. Well, no need to stress out then.
Not too long after getting the ship, I met the arms dealer, Glover.
An English merchant who specializes in arms dealings. He uses Nagasaki as his base.
He made mention of a weapon that'd wipe out the shogunate with ease. That's when I saw it. Looked just like you, too, what with the hair and those red eyes. Made men look like real chumps. Could heal immediately, and can overcome anyone who stands in your way, even a beast. If someone had that, then yeah, overthrowing the shogunate would be a no-brainer. It sounded real good to my associates. But two things bothered me. How come Westerners hadn't kept such a handy weapon all to themselves, and why'd they want to sell it to us? There was a possibility that they were given the same thing to the shogunate, who were trading with the foreigners before anyone else. Then Glover told me. The shogunate's using Furies too. If you don't find a way to fight them, then we'll basically be sitting ducks out there. So, looked into it, and I caught word that the Shinsengumi were doing some research.
And how did this information come to you?
If I answer you, will you answer my question?
I can't make any promises, but I will hear your question out.
Such a tease. Whatever. Not like I'd lose anything telling you. Okay, Glover told me. He said there are Furies in the Shinsengumi. The person responsible for all of this was Kodo. Think it was after the 8-18 political change. Kodo was chatting up the arms dealer often, and then started experimenting on the Furies.
An incident in 1863 where the Aizu and Satsuma domains, who favored the shogunate's marital union with the imperial family, were exiled from Kyoto by the Choshu domains. My heart froze. My father was not only experimenting on the Shinsengumi, but on others for his Fury research.
Are you okay, Yukimura? If this is too much for you to hear, it would be okay if you wanted to leave.
No. I'm fine. I attempted to stay composed in this moment, even though it tugged at my heart to hear it. This was a grievous sin committed by my father. As his daughter, I couldn't dare shrug this aside.
I got the gist. So what does it have to do with us? Why are you here? Isn't it obvious? Stop the experiment now. The West is only going to use you.
His directness created a palpable tension in the room.
Your request is an interesting one. With what right do you think you can approach us and give us this command?
You guys seriously don't know what the British did to China. They sold them opium, bled them dry, made a big mess all up and down the country, then started a war that China was too weak to fight in. Same thing will happen to Japan. We let them do as they please. Japan will suffer the same fate as India, and as Shanghai, and all will be as a colony of Britain. Think about it. Why do you think the shogunate's asking you to do all these Fury experiments? Unlike the Jiki-san's retainers, all of you are disposable. Don't you see it? So what's the point in listening to the shogunate and doing all the dirty work? Gotta put a stop to it. It's crazy talk. To the world, the samurai will be all but dead in a generation's time.
This must have been the last straw. I could see Hijikata seething in anger, and hatred was practically flaming in his eyes as he glared. You sure as hell are a big talker. Glad I gave you the time of day. Furies are all just part of a big plan then, are they? Then explain to me what the hell you're doing to the Satsuma Choshu. You're selling them armaments, bringing turmoil into our country, and sowing the seeds of dissent and destruction wherever you go. How are Furies and guns any different if they both are used to kill people?
Got me there. I agree, I'm no saint. I am a hopeless criminal. Even criminals have principles, though. Humans can't control Furies.
We have no obligation to abide by whatever principles you claim to have.
Toshi, that is enough.
After hearing the two of them bicker back and forth, Kondo put a stop to it.
If the Satsuma Choshu are willing to use Furies too, then we must come up with an appropriate strategy. If we can stop them from experimenting on the Furies as well, then we will be in an even more advantageous position.
However, he does not only wish for them to stop their experiment, but us as well. However, for now at least, we can work towards a common goal.
So, I'm picking up that you don't really plan on stopping, eh?
We already have Furies within our troops. Not everyone shares the same principles as you.
Sanan grinned coolly. Both parties were speaking in a roundabout fashion that made it difficult to discern what would come from their discussion. In the least, both the Shinsengumi and Sakamoto acknowledged the dangerous potential from the Furies and the consequences of carelessness.
At the moment, however, I am curious of Koto's current whereabouts as well as how pervasive the use of Furies is in the West. Sakamoto, would you be able to inform us of this as soon as you are given this information?
And what are you gonna do for me?
Let's see. How about we give you the information you want? Anything about the Furies you aim to know. For example, if you were to learn of their weaknesses, then surely you could develop a system of overpowering them in combat.
You sure? Kinda gives you the short end, eh?
We shall address this when the time comes. Even if you were to learn of their weaknesses, killing Furies is no simple task.
Sakamoto and Sanan watched each other, smirking from having met a compromise finally. Well, I'm glad they're happy. Toshi's not. Hijikata furrowed his brow, and it seemed like he couldn't wait to be done with all of this.
Shit, who would have thought I'd ever have to work with you? Who said we're working together? We just gotta play nice for now, yeah?
If you're willing to tell us what they are planning, then I will think better of you.
Why don't you just get to know me on your own? Personally, can't wait till the shogunate has shown the door.
Welp, so much for that. To hell with that, you idiot. If you want to live in dreamland, go to bed. Wow, what a comeback.
Sakamoto, what would be the most effective method of getting in touch with you in the future?
Sakamoto looked towards me.
Send letters through her.
What? Me?
Yeah, if I come over here every time you all need me, it'll look real fishy.
Sakamoto spoke so matter-of-factly at times, but I had to think about myself here. Was it really worth the risk to help him this way? Come on, you know you'll do it. It was a lot of responsibility to be the courier for information that included the Furies. Still, I could understand where Sakamoto was coming from. We shouldn't be dependent on the Furies. If I want to stop my father, I need to do everything in my power to do so. All right, I'll do it. Well, he's really happy about it. Yay!
Had a feeling you'd say that. It's you and me, Chizuru. Guess I'll be on my way today, then. Looking forward to work with you boys.
Ugh, begrudgingly.
Yukimura, would you mind escorting our guest to the exit?
Sure. Poor Toshi. As we were approaching the exit, Sakamoto began muttering his frustrations to me.
Sheesh, everyone's got their heads up their asses back there. It's all dumb.
I don't think it's dumb.
What's that?
You were saying that the men of the Shinsengumi were just being used by the shogunate, but I don't think they see it that way. I think they are fully aware of what is being asked of them, and they are the ones who are assuming that risk.
Did I offend you or something? Well, I don't plan on taking it back. Propriety and loyalty are just made-up words to get lower-class citizens to kiss their leaders' asses.
So do you think the sacrifices they make every day are stupid or something?
Never said that. Question is, though, are you protecting the Tokugawa clan or Japan? That's what's at stake here. It'd be stupid to swing your sword without knowing who you're fighting for. If everyone was so smart, then we wouldn't have any of these problems.
I could understand where he was coming from, but I couldn't quite bring myself to agree with him totally, so I just stayed silent. Sakamoto moved on to say something, as if it just popped into his head.
Oh yeah. Mind keeping what happened today away from Nakaoka. Even just the fact that I came here.
Huh? Why?
See, he's got real small balls. A real warrior.
Wow, no wonder you don't want me to tell him anything. He'd be so offended.
Keeps saying, don't be so rash, and then just blabs on and on and on. You get me.
I could picture that happening. The image of Nakaoka nagging and bothering Sakamoto was so funny I couldn't help but laugh.
Anyways, I'll be looking out for you. Later, Chizuru.
Alright, goodbye. Just like that, Sakamoto walked swiftly away from the compounds. So many unexpected things had happened today. I have no idea what to make of it all. Who would have thought my father would be a part of the Fury experiments in the West? Why, father? Now I knew. It wasn't just the Shinsengumi men, but people all over the West being experimented on. I wanted so badly, with all of my heart, to confront my father, and this hopeless yearning for answers lingered as I walked back into the compounds alone. Well, we might run into him. Sister brother's involved somehow. So it could come up. Alright, are we back on the path? We are back on the path, okay. You're trying to hold my hand again, and we're going to talk about Heisuke. So, he's not dead yet. Are we going to have to save him again, or was... Yeah, the assassination happens after we've talked to you guys, normally. We gotta go save him somehow. I think we're slow fading, so this is probably what's happening right now. Alright, what's our plan in November 1867? Oh, it's freezing. We had reached the middle of November, and the wintry air had engulfed the entire country. My body shivered against the unrelenting, nippy air, and I was sweeping some leaves. Harada and Inoue were returning from the market, and they approached me, bundled in warm clothing.
Hey, Chizuru. You could finish up cleaning early today. It's pretty cold.
Oh, this is nothing.
Are you sure? Please do not force yourself.
I'm fine. Thank you for your concern, though. I continued to sweep the fallen leaves, and then I heard Harada mutter something.
Huh. Thinking back on it now, I heard Sakamoto was seen in Kyoto recently. Have you gotten any word from him?
Sakamoto? No, he hasn't sent me anything.
Supposedly, the plans for the restoration of the Imperial rule the other day were his idea. He must be quite busy.
Bet you he's more than busy. From what I hear, people everywhere have been looking for him, so he's got no time to spare running about.
Looking for him?
Well, the Satsuma and Choshu have their hands full trying to go to war with the Tokugawa clan, but now that doesn't look so hot right now.
That is correct. I also hear the Mimiwari Gumi and the Fushimi Magistrate are looking for him too.
The Mimiwari Gumi and the Fushimi Magistrate? Those were the men who attempted to arrest Sakamoto at the Terada Inn.
During the Terada Inn incident, Sakamoto gave them quite the run for their money. I believe they are seeking retribution for that.
I see. It seemed as if my world was changing faster than I could keep up with, and my heart raced. More than anything, I hope Sakamoto was safe. Just as the thought entered my mind. Yeah? Is he here? Oh. Well, hello everybody on the screen. Nakakura and Shimada, who just completed their rounds, approached the group of us.
Oh, Sano and Gen. What brings you here? Doing some chores? Man, wish you guys would be a couple of gentlemen and roast me up some sweet potatoes. Are food and sake the only things you think of in that rockhead of yours?
Nakakura, Shimada,
How was the tone? It appears like the Mimiwarigumi and the men of the magistrate are on high alert.
High alert.
Well, obviously. I'd bet anything that they're planning another raid on Sakamoto any day now.
I gulped in response to Nagakora's comment, or Harada, or whoever that was. Yamazaki?
Everyone, can you gather in the common room? Commander Hijikata is calling.
Uh-oh. Must be time. We all gathered at the common room, and Hijikata abruptly spoke up.
The reason I called all of you in here today is... well, I'm sure you can guess. Sakamoto's got a target on his back. This time the Mimiwarigumi and the Fushimi Magistrate aren't playing around. Well, Sakamoto did kinda give them the slip the other day. I couldn't give less of a shit what happens to him. Or at least that's where I'm at with him. He knows about our involvement with the Furies. He's also helping us look for Koto. So, all of that said, just like at the Terada Inn, I need you to tell Sakamoto that there's going to be a raid called in on him, okay, Yukimura?
Sure.
Shinpachi, Harada, Yamazaki, follow her. Alright, let's do it. So, where's Sakamoto at?
He's staying at an inn across the Tosa. It's on the second floor of the Omiya.
Wow, quite the swanky place. Well, guess it's time for us to head out then.
Alright. Time to go save a life. Does someone have some Fury Serum on hand, or do we have to bring him back for that? As we left the compounds for Omiya, all of us exhaled breaths that turned white as smoke. The end. While we passed a back alley, we saw a group of Ronin huddling together. Huh? I sensed something felt a little off, so I turned around and looked back. It was a familiar tang in my nostrils that I'd surely smelled before.
Did you notice it too? Their kimonos smelled like blood. Yup. Seems like those guys might have stabbed someone somewhere.
One of those men seems familiar. I think he was a member of the Mimiwarigumi.
Ah, then that must mean... My bad feeling had been shared with everyone, and we looked at each other. Could it be Sakamoto?
Let's hurry. Chizuru, can you run?
Yes, of course! The urgency of our hunch made us run through the chilly night as the stars twinkled above. Should have probably been doing that all along. Oh well. There were no lights on in Omiya, and it was eerily quiet.
Hey, anyone here?
Nagakora called into the shop, and no voice answered his question. We all looked at each other, unsure how to proceed before taking turns stepping inside. Oh boy. As soon as we opened the door, our noses were filled with the same dank, musty stench as we'd smelled in the alley. There was no doubt about it. It was the smell of blood. A lot of blood.
Yamazaki, tail those men and get some information. Don't rough them up, though.
Understood.
Yamazaki answered curtly and ran outside.
Sakamoto was upstairs, right?
Harada peered up the stairs, which were dimly lit, and he spoke to me sharply.
Chizuru, stay behind. Wait here till we say the coast is clear.
No, I gotta go, man. I need to see. I'll go too. Please. Let me go with you guys. Harada watched me reproachfully. I continued on. If those men were assassins, I don't think they'd still be here. I won't do anything reckless. I promise that I'll follow orders, so please.
Okay, if you're gonna be so adamant, then I guess it can't be helped. Alright, come with us. But don't walk in front of us, alright?
I understand. I carefully walked up the stairs right behind Nagakora. As we creaked up each step, the stench of blood became stronger and stronger. What could have happened up there? I wanted to see it all with my own eyes, but my gut told me something that made my heart race. The conflict to know for myself pushed me forward, and we made it to the top of the stairs. My whole body froze when I had finally seen what was laid before us. Both the sliding door and the hardware floor were tainted with the stains of fresh blood. I really hope Nakaoka didn't die here. In the middle of the room were two men, covered in brutal stab wounds all over their bodies. They were... Sakamoto! I ran up to him and took his pulse. It seemed like he had a pulse, a faint one though. It was a brief sense of relief, but just by looking at him, it was clear his wounds, from both quantity and severity, were fatal. I don't think he had much time left. Why? Why would this happen to Sakamoto? No, I can't give up yet. First, I needed to tend to his wounds and stitch whatever I can together. I hope I could find some sake nearby. Shochu would be preferred, perhaps in the kitchen. I'm impressed with her. She's not freaking out or going into hysterics. She's very like, okay, medical training time. I got up to sprint downstairs.
Wait, Chizuru.
I heard Sakamoto's voice and I stopped in my tracks. Man, how are you conscious right now, dude? Sakamoto! Do you recognize me? I asked him tenderly, and he curled his lip like he does, and he managed to laugh, bloody face and all. Curled his lip like he does. Yep, you've fallen hard for him. I guess he loves that we came up the stairs for him.
Of course I'd recognize you. Could never forget a face as beautiful as yours.
Sakamoto slowly inched a trembling hand covered in blood towards my cheeks. His hand moved so gingerly next to me, as if he was afraid of touching me with his blood. As a result of losing so much blood, his fingertips were cold to the touch. Even the charm in his gaze couldn't save him as he watched me helplessly upon the floor.
Damn it all. Got a little unlucky back there. Restored Yoshinobu back to his rightful place. Japan was gonna be reborn.
His eyes were becoming glossy, and he struggled to breathe as he spoke. I couldn't watch anymore. Sakamoto, please, don't strain yourself by talking! Just as I screamed out. Whoa! Okay, where did you get one of those? Did you pickpocket it off of somebody? Because you don't change normally, right? Huh. The color in his hair gradually faded. His eyes were transforming into a crimson red. I began to sob uncontrollably next to him. Why? Through the closeness and proximity next to him, I could see it, but I couldn't accept it. No, I couldn't believe. No, I didn't want to.
What's wrong? Chizuru.
It seemed as though Sakamoto didn't know what was happening to him, and he gazed back at me with a yearning expression. So you didn't take it? Just then.
Yo, this guy is breathing again. Hey, you alright?
Nagakura was watching Nakaoka on the floor beside Sakamoto, and he screamed. Okay, so it's both of you. Are you both Furies? The next moment, we saw Nakaoka rise from the ground, although he seemed very weak.
Whoa!
Nagakura's body was flung against the wall. Is this Harada or Chizuru screaming this? Whatever. Nagakura!
You all good, Shin? Yup, I'm good, but he's...
Yep. I followed Nagakura's gaze, and there stood Nakaoka. His hair had turned white and his eyes flamed red. He had turned into a fury. Nakaoka, why? I asked, my voice shaking with it, and he glared at me like a beast upon its prey.
I should be asking you the same thing. Looks like you want to kill Japan.
His eyes burned with hatred, gazing upon each one of us with anger.
I remember now. You guys stabbed me and Sakamoto. Shouldn't have doubted myself. Should have never trusted you shogunate bitches. All you care about is your honor, your money, and your own goddamned lives.
Whoa, that's a pose. Nakaoka immediately reached for the blood-covered sword resting on his hip, and he pointed it towards us.
He's become a fury! Watch out, Sano! I know!
Nakaoka shifted his feet and he charged towards Nagakura. Yike.
Ugh!
Luckily, he managed to see the blade coming. However, the attacks didn't stop there. As the swords continued to clash in the room, Nagakura seemed to be tiring a bit.
You bastards!
Harada had tried to back him up, but then...
You fools. What makes you think numbers will help you in such a tight space?
Nakaoka grabbed a hold of Harada's spear and yanked it back, then he charged towards Harada with the open space. Harada, watch out! I instinctively withdrew my Kodachi and I attempted to charge at him to distract him.
Stay out of my way!
Ah! The only one who can help us is Sakamoto. Immediately, he shoved me and my body was flung towards the sliding door.
God damn it, didn't think they'd end up using Furies in battle against us now.
Nagakura swung angrily at Nakaoka over and over again, but even with the three of us, Nakaoka handled our attacks with ease. All of us were tiring so quickly, and yet there appeared to be no end to his boundless strength.
This all the Shinsengumi captains have to offer.
Oh!
Nagakura! Harada! I tried moving closer to them for safety.
Don't move a muscle.
Nakaoka pointed his sword towards me.
Always thought you were a little funny. Just so I can have some peace of mind, time to end you once and for all.
Wait! This is all a misunderstanding! If we continue to fight, then this will only make things worse for the Shogunate and the Tosa!
I've been reborn as a fury. Tosa is nothing to me now.
His words made me shiver from fear. Slow walking. Really? Really? Okay, sure, you could be the hero, why not?
Don't lay a finger on her, Nakaoka.
Someone I'd least expected to see in this room waltzed inside, kimono flowing behind her. It was Kaoru. What was she doing here?
Move! If you get in my way, I will kill you!
Nakaoka screamed out, but Kaoru looked unfazed. She gave him a cool gaze and continued.
You need to leave her untouched. It's Koto's orders. Didn't I leave something left for the two of you to do still? I saved your life. Please, do not do me the service of wasting it.
So you came and made them Furies. And Koto's back in town, and he wanted you to do that? I wonder if Kaoru reported on Sakamoto's interest in Chizuru, and that's why he saved him this time around? I saved your life? Then that must mean Kaoru was the one who turned the two of them into... Just then, Sakamoto raised his head and he slowly tried getting up from the floor. Oof. Man, you look terrible.
Why am I thought I was done for.
Yep, we were. Then the Shinsengumi came to collect our heads.
That's not true! This is all a misunderstanding! We... As I attempted to explain what had happened, a commotion was heard from the outside.
Nakaoka, Sakamoto, people are coming. Let's get out of here.
But wait, Sakamoto! I tried running after him to speak first.
Move!
Ah! Nakaoka kicked me square in my stomach and my body slammed against the wall. Man! Wait! I had the wind knocked out of me, but I pushed through the pain to try crawling after them, but...
Well, guess this is my good night, everyone. The next time we meet, we'll be on the battlefield.
Then Nakaoka knocked the door open with another kick and they disappeared from the scene. That is not at all how I was expecting that to go down. Now all that was remaining was a tattered room filled only with blood and silence. What could I do now? I would have never in my wildest imagination pictured Sakamoto or Nakaoka becoming Furies. Eventually, Harada gathered himself and stood up, offering me a hand. Thank you!
You hanging in there, Chizuru? Anything broken?
I'm fine, but...
Okay, guys, we should get going. If someone sees us here, then they'll think we assassinated Sakamoto.
Nagakora and Harada helped me back up and we rushed downstairs. Once we'd returned to the compounds, I felt as if I was stuck in a nightmare when the memories returned to me. Hijikata had gathered everyone in the common room once we had gotten back.
I see. We were too late, huh?
The suspect behind Sakamoto's assassination is most likely one of the Mimiwarigumi, but...
Survived an assassination attempt on his life by drinking the water of life.
Even if we were to come out and say it, no one would probably believe us. The water of life that Sakamoto and Nakaoka drank were straight from Kyoto too, eh? Yeah, it seems that way.
For a moment, everyone was silent. Then Harada chimed in.
The woman back at Omiya, she looked real familiar. She called herself Kaoru. She was the one who got involved with the notice board fiasco. She was on the Tosa side back then, too. Then that must mean... the western region where Kyoto's hiding is under the jurisdiction of the Tosa.
Whatever the case, the water of life is being applied for practical use with our enemies. This does not bode well for us.
Well, if Kyoto's defecting, yeah. No surprise that the bastard's still keeping up with his water of life experiments.
All of the Shinsengumi captains grew agitated, and no one spoke so that they could consider the implications silently. Eventually...
Alright. Let's call it a night, everybody. Thanks for the hard work.
With Hijikata's blessing, everyone bowed and left the common room. But I couldn't shake this bad feeling, and it really worried me, so I approached Hijikata.
What is it? Do you need something?
I wasn't quite sure if Hijikata was the best person to ask this, but... what's going to happen to Sakamoto? Hijikata thought about it for a second, muttering to himself as if he couldn't put it into words.
If word gets out about Sakamoto's assassination, then it'll be hard for the Tosa to come out and try to convince everyone he's still alive. Surely they're going to pronounce him dead to the public, and I don't think they'll want people knowing about what Furies are now, too.
I see. So that means he won't be able to work actively in the political sphere anymore. Sakamoto hoped to create a new world without the shogunate or the samurai. Then Hijikata began to heed his warning.
Now that Sakamoto is a Fury, we can no longer cooperate or continue our relationship. So, from now on, he's our enemy. Don't let your guard down around him. Got it?
I had a feeling he would say something along those lines to me. I just couldn't bring myself to agree with what he was telling me.
Yukimura.
Hijikata pressed me for a response. I know. Somehow I was able to bring myself to say it out loud, then I bowed quickly and exited the room. After I returned to my room, I tried preparing my futon, but the sights and smells of that room stuck to my senses and I couldn't sleep. If he was still alive, maybe I could see Sakamoto again, but I wondered what my father had in store for him and Nakaoka. And what about Kaoru? No matter how much I searched internally for a clue, no answer would come, so I was left to contend with what could be the worst case. After that night, rumors spread about us fleeing the Omiya, and I'm not sure who could have seen us leave. Throughout the city of Kyoto, people began to speculate that it was the Shinsengumi who assassinated Sakamoto. Then, after all of this, something even the Shinsengumi couldn't expect had confronted us. Something that would change us forever.